was speaking to these county commissioners was one of my clients. He's a local county commissioner here in Hillsborough County, Commissioner Mark Sharp. He's a commissioner at large. Some of you may know Mark. And the thing I love about Mark is he's genuinely a geek, genuinely loves technology, and loves communicating with his constituents via technology. So Mark hired me to come and work with him on his campaign, but really I told Mark, I said, you being an elected official, let's make your campaign being accessible to your constituents. And he's done that. So every week we have a live webcast broadcasted from Buddy Brew Coffee every Friday morning, where Mark sits in front of a camera and brings a guest on, somebody who's doing something really cool in government locally, or is doing something cool in business and is creating jobs, and they sit down like in front of my MacBook. It's really, really funny to watch, and for 10 minutes talk about how to make government work better for the citizens of Hillsborough County. And every week, it hasn't gotten old yet. We've done it for like 16 weeks now. It hasn't gotten old just watching this elected official do what elected officials are supposed to do, be accessible. And he takes questions via Twitter, via Facebook Live on his show, and he can answer these questions. He's the only local elected official in the country who has their own weekly web TV show that's syndicated on iTunes that you can watch on your iPhone and your iPad and iPod, and he tells his kids and they laugh at him, and we'll never ever watch it, but it's really, really entertaining. So that's one of the really exciting projects we're doing at the intersection of government and technology. Another one I want to talk about, which I had to answer an emergency phone call for a couple minutes ago. We're working with Google and the Pew Center of States on what's called the Voting Information Project, which we're really, really excited about. And the Voting Information Project has been going on for a couple of years, and basically Pew's goal and Google's goal is to get Secretary of States all over the country to publish not personally identifiable information, not voter files, but polling place locations. Simply polling place locations with corresponding street indexes via a uniform format, so XML, so that Google, who obviously has an interest in this, and other third parties can take this official data that's being drawn from the state's website every 24 hours and turn them into these gadgets so that they can reach voters where they are online. So voters aren't always going to be smart enough or persistent enough to go find their Secretary of State's website and then click through to find their polling place locator. So Google said, well, if they're already searching for it on our search engine, why not, why don't we just present them the information where they already are? And the cool thing about this is, too, the newspapers can take this information and make gadgets to put on their website. It's really bringing the information of where to vote, which is the biggest reason why people don't vote, to the voters wherever they are online, so that they're, they can have that data. I'd love to talk to you all more about that project. It's a mammoth project. I was telling Steve, there's probably, I don't even know how many people are working on this project. I'm a very, very small part of this project. But the Google engineers and the people at Pew are brilliant and are doing a great job with this. So we're really excited about that. And then kind of to piggyback off of that, this is kind of a project that's spurned off of literally an idea I had while I was driving it's been probably a couple months now. Are any of you all, and this I should check, is anybody on Foursquare here? Has anybody played around? Okay, I forgot to check in. I apologize. I'll check in when I'm leaving like everybody else does. It's incredibly passive, but that's another story. So I got the idea one day, and this has been a theme of my life for the last 6 months, is trying to think about how to use these technologies not only to get people elected, but to do good and to increase civic engagement. And when I was driving, I was like, because politicians have been asking me for a couple months now, how can I use Foursquare, right? So every time there's a new technology, you can leave it to politicians to figure out a way to better them, promote them, and get them elected. And honestly, I really haven't found a good solution to that yet. I have yet to find, other than adding your campaign headquarters to Foursquare and creating a special there to get a free T-shirt if you come in and make 10 calls, I've yet to think of a really, really smart way to use it. But as I was thinking about this, I was like, wait a second, there's a much more better application of Foursquare in getting out the vote. And so I had the idea, and originally it started with, these local supervisor of elections should upload all of their polling place locations to Foursquare, so that throughout the year, as they're checking in at Chili's, they also see that their polling place location is right across the street. And they can say, oh, I didn't know that. And I can go to the website, and there's a link there, there's tips. So we've added tips to say, election day is November 2nd, polling place locations are open from 7 to 7. Here's a link to find out more information. And that idea in Seminole County, right across I-4 from us, actually contracted my firm to do that work. They're the first county in the country to ever map out every single polling place location within Foursquare. And so now, and they've had a great response from it. And it's been a really, really cool effort for them. Now, granted, Foursquare doesn't have the scale that Facebook or all these other services do, like Twitter. But in the location-based space, they're currently winning. I think they're right at 4 million users. So that idea led to this other idea, which I'm actually probably most excited about for November. I got the idea of you get badges when you check into different places. So if I check into 3 different Apple stores across the country, I get a jobs badge, right? Very high prize for any Mac lover. So I thought, what if we create an I voted badge? So very similar to the I voted sticker that you physically wear on your lapel when you leave the voting station and you go to work. What if you made that digital and allowed people to share your action of voting to encourage your friends and your Twitter followers to vote as well? That could be a really, really powerful thing. So I tweeted the idea one day, and a bunch of people started retweeting it, and then I realized I was an idiot and should have turned it into a Twitter petition. So I very quickly did, using a service called Actly, which I love. It keeps track of how many people signed your Twitter petition and how many people have seen it. So now it's been about 2 or 3 months, and about, last time I checked was last week, so I have no idea what the number is right now, but last week it was like 560 signatures and people who signed the petition on Twitter. It's been viewed by almost 1 million people on Twitter, and most importantly, it's got Foursquare's attention, and Foursquare has reached out to us, obviously behind the scenes, to try to make this work. So we're really, really excited about it, and hopefully when I go to check into my polling place, now my idea is off to much smarter people than I, and engineers who are going to figure out how to make this work. But hopefully when we go check into our polling place locations on election day, you'll have an I voted badge. You'll be able to tell your friends. You'll be able to encourage them to get out and vote. And it's a great civic participation tool. So those are kind of the election projects we're working on. And to find out more about our work, you can go to our website. I'll hand out cards when I'm done here. And that's really our very election government-centric stuff. But I can't stay long on it, but I'd love to hear